This is the Cutting Edge on IRFM on next Wednesday night. Why you up all on them out there? Tea, go for your coffee. Go for anything where you want. Go for where can keep your eye. Go for some matching stick for hold up your eyelid. Cause you don't want to miss tonight's show at all. Believe you me. We are going to play some tape. Not very long, but very, very potent about the money system in the world and the people who control the world. And you know, money is power right now. So if you control the money, you use the power base. And we want to play the 13 men who control the world. And the main man, we want to play, well, not the main man, the main family, I should say, who control governments, politicians, banking man, management, owners. Them just control everything monetarily. Them decide when the gold go down, when the gold go up. Them decide how much money can print in a certain country and all that. But you're going to hear some things tonight where it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The things that we don't know that really affect us. Yes. A lot of the things that we don't know affect us. It's not sometimes when you don't know will hurt you. It's not when you know will hurt you sometimes. Believe you me. This is the Cutting Edge. We have a new face in town that's behind me tonight. Yeah. Why may I tell you? Tracy gone. I feel for ball. And I feel for ball and I feel for wet up my face. Tracy gone, but we have another little young lady around here, so with me. It's the first time she will come to the studio in the night with me. She there with me already in the day. But she there with me in the night and she will keep her company. Because as long as that she can do, keep me company, because I don't know where she can do inside here right now. Believe you, she'll keep me company until 12 o'clock. Just like what Tracy used to do. This is the Cutting Edge on IRFM. You know what I'm saying? Lee Scratch Perry produced an album years ago by the Congos, one of the best albums. Them rated in at the top. Them rated at the top 100 album, best album of all time. Yes? The Congos album, Art of the Congos. Them rated in at the top best, in the 100 top best. I think they are 25, you know, if I'm not mistaken. I think they are 25. Well, we say VP released it, a 3 album set, yeah, Art of the Congo. A serious album. This is the Cutting Edge. You're going to hear some things tonight where it's unbelievable what these men and people do to manipulate and scheme when it comes on to monetary systems and the banking business. It's a very, very serious thing that we insert in the program. It's called Jamaican Roots and Culture. We want to give to Pat Clark enough respect for doing this for the Cutting Edge. Jamaican Roots and Culture. So we're going to turn it over to Pat Clark at this moment.
Welcome to Jamaican Roots and Culture. I'm Pat Clark. This week, we look at the life and work of Claude McKay. Claude McKay is most popularly known as a Jamaican poet. McKay was much more than this. He was a revolutionary, embraced and later rejected by American blacks during the period of American history known as the Harlem Renaissance. This was the period from 1920 until about 1930, when an unprecedented outburst of creative activity among American blacks occurred in the fields of art, literature, and music. It was a time when African Americans were encouraged to embrace their heritage. Our very own Marcus Garvey became a powerful influence on African American thinking at the time. The youngest of 8 children, Claude McKay was born on September 15, 1890 in the hills of Clarendon. He was educated by his older brother, who was a trained teacher. Claude learned early in life to appreciate the works of literary masters such as Shakespeare, and coming from a strong Christian family, biblical literature was also among his influences. While in Jamaica, Claude became a constable in the police force. This, a job which he once confessed he was not fit for. In fact, he once said that he had a strong sense of sympathy for wrongdoers. By 1912, Claude McKay had already written 2 volumes of poetry in Jamaican dialect, and he was ready to learn more. He arrived in Charleston, North Carolina, later that year to continue his studies at the Tuskegee Institute, a prestigious college for blacks. Claude left after only 6 months there, for he could not deal with the atmosphere of oppression in the American South, a situation he described as very unfamiliar. Claude McKay moved to Kansas State College, and after 2 years there, moved to New York City when a literary admirer gave him several $1,000s out of appreciation for his Jamaican dialect works. Once in New York, McKay relished being a part of the black community there. He married Eulalie Edwards and became a restaurateur. However, within 6 months, his marriage had failed. Eulalie returned to Jamaica and gave birth to a daughter Claude would never see. His restaurant business also crumbled, leaving Claude penniless. Using his misfortune to his advantage, Claude decided to pursue a career in writing. He wrote his poetry in standard English. His message was anger, despair, rebellion, and alienation. Claude McKay felt intense bitterness over the fact that he had come to be recognized as a great black poet and not as a great poet. He hated the fact that he was judged by the color of his skin. At the end of World War II in 1918, Claude McKay embraced socialism. He felt that capitalism exploited black people as they struggled to prove themselves and were still not given the same treatment as whites. It was at that time that he wrote If We Must Die, perhaps his most famous poem. It became an anthem for the blacks in America.
If we must die, let it not be like hogs, hunted and penned in an inglorious spot, while round us bark the mad and hungry dogs, making their mock at our cursed lot. If we must die, oh, let us nobly die, so that our precious blood may not be shed in vain. Then even the monsters we defy shall be constrained to honor us though dead. O kinsmen, if we must meet the common foe, though far outnumbered, let us show us brave, and for their 1,000 blows deal one death blow. What though before us lies the open grave? Like men, we'll face the murderous, cowardly pack, pressed to the wall, dying, but fighting back.
However, Claude did not appreciate being the black representative for America. He said of the poem, he wrote it for all men who were being oppressed, whether they were black, brown, yellow, or white. Soon after the success of this poem, Claude McKay, frustrated with black life in America, moved to communist Russia. He lived there for 12 years, enjoying life as a celebrity, for he was the first black person to arrive in Russia after its violent revolution, and his socialist views were well known there. He was treated as a black icon in the flesh. Claude McKay had to return to New York in 1934, however, after the Great Depression hit the world economies. He was left penniless. McKay paid for his trip back to the United States with money he had borrowed. He described his return as being expelled from heaven to hell. While he lived in Russia, he traveled Europe and North Africa extensively, spending much of his time in Paris. In 1937, he wrote a book about his life and travels titled A Long Way from Home. In it, he questioned the motives of blacks whom he felt used the Harlem Renaissance to advance their social status among whites. He also hoped that blacks would develop their own form of nationalism and not ally with the political parties in the country. Because of this, he was eventually rejected by the Harlem community, who said he was out of touch with reality. So 28 years after his arrival in the U.S., Claude McKay was poor, dejected, and alone. Soon after this, he was diagnosed with hypertension and dropsy. His failing health prompted him to review his ideals. He rejected socialism and adopted Christianity as a faith on which he had turned his back early in his life. And to the amazement of his contemporaries, Claude found personal salvation in a Catholic church in 1944. He died in a Chicago hospital on May 22nd in 1948 from heart failure. Though most of his life saw him in constant struggle with the reality of being a black man in white America, Claude McKay's message and goal was to eradicate race consciousness, and his dream was to see all races living in harmony. And now, to end Jamaican roots and culture, here's our famous black quotation from the black diaspora. Color is not a human or personal reality. It is a political reality. The words of James Baldwin. For Jamaican Roots and Culture, I'm Pat Clark.
This is the Cutting Edge on RFM. So, we tell you, we're going to play some tape tonight, and we want you to listen keenly to these things, because, trust me, even though it might sound like it's just a tape, but it affects way. All of these things affect way. In some way or another, it affects way. And it's not, the population of the earth is about 7 billion, almost 7 billion, them say. Yet still, it's just a handful of men control and manipulate this thing what we call banking system, money system. Because that make the world go round, you know. Money make the world go round, believe you me. One time you could have definitely say money can't buy life, but not again. Because when you're sick, you know, if you don't have money, you're going dead. If you have money, more than likely your life can't get saved. You understand? And most of the time when people kill people, and money them kill them over. Yeah, man. So, we're going to play this first. Here goes.
Greetings, humanity of all over the world. We are anonymous. The shadow forces behind the New World Order are following a slow-paced agenda of total control over mankind and our planet's resources. David Icke coined it the totalitarian tiptoe, because they are making very small steps towards our complete and definitive enslavement. As a result, the masses remain relatively unaware of the fact that their liberties are being gradually taken away, while the power of the New World Order octopus grows steadily. Somewhere near the very top of the pyramid, an extremely elitist organization known as the Council of the 13 Families orchestrates all of the major world events. As the name suggests, the council consists of the top 13 most influential families on Earth. An increasingly number of people is becoming aware that 99% of the Earth's population is controlled by an elite of 1%. But the Council of the 13 Families consists of less than 1% of the 1% elite, and nobody on Earth can apply for membership. In their opinion, they are entitled to rule over the rest of us, because they believe that they are the direct descendants of the ancient gods, and consider themselves royal. These families are 1. Rothschild, Bauer or Bauer. 2. Bruce. 3. Cavendish, Kennedy. 4. De Medici. 5. Hanover. 6. Habsburg. 7. Krupp. 8. Plantagenet. 9. Rockefeller. 10. Romanov. 11. Sinclair, St. Clair. 12. Warburg, Del Banco. 13. Windsor, Saxe-Coburg Gotha. Personally, I suspect that this may not be the complete list, and some very powerful lineages are still unknown to us. The Rothschild dynasty is unquestionably the most powerful, visible bloodline on Earth, and their estimated wealth is around $500 trillion. They exercise their power through the world banking empire, which is almost entirely owned by them. The most important institutions that work hard to establish the New World Order and completely enslave our species are: 1. The City of London, finance, controlled by the Rothschilds, not part of the United Kingdom. 2. The United States Federal Reserve, finance, private bank, owned by the Rothschilds, not part of the United States. 3. The Vatican City, indoctrination, deception and scare tactics, not part of Italy. 4. Washington, D.C., military, mind programming, brainwashing and depopulation, not part of the United States. All of the above institutions function as individual states, operating under their own laws. Hence, there is no court of law on earth that could ever prosecute them. The multitude of secret societies in existence today operate as branches of a mega corporation, which is owned by the Council of the 13 Families. Even though they have been handsomely rewarded for their work, the members of these secret societies are not members of the elite bloodlines, they don't know who their masters are, and they have no idea what the real agenda is. Another mass enslavement tool that they are using against us is the so-called educational system. Schools are no longer what they used to be, and children are learning to memorize without thinking, and obey without questioning. In fact, this established educational system is extremely expensive to keep operational, and obsolete in the age of the internet. Why obsolete, you may ask? Because the internet gives us free access to almost infinite amounts of information. So why are we still paying huge amounts of money for governmental education? Because the world's elite require that our children learn conformity and inside-the-box thinking. Mankind's faith is hanging in the balance right now, as the control of the New World Order octopus spreads. On the one hand, we are very close to our complete enslavement, while on the other hand, we could easily crumble to the ground their pyramid of power by simply uniting against their deception in a peaceful revolution of minds, hearts and souls. We've asked for years what their greatest weapon of enslavement is. Is it poor education combined with constant indoctrination? Is it the fear generated by religion? Is it the fear of being punished, jailed, or killed by the system? Or is it the invisible enslavement of the monetary system? In our opinion, all of the above combined had a huge impact on our society and the way we think, but their biggest weapon is hands down the financial system. The financial system has stealthily enslaved our species, and now we are being used as currency slaves. We all work from 9 to 5 every day, in boring and depressing environments, not stimulated by anything creative or constructive. In most cases, the sole motivation for going to work is the next paycheck, and no matter how hard we work, we never seem to have enough money. Have you ever wondered why megacorporations reaping billions a year in profits pay dozens of millions to their CEOs, and as close as possible to the minimum wage to the rest of the employees? This has been carefully designed, because a person that is constantly on the edge will never have time for self-education, introspection, and eventually, spiritual awakening. Isn't this our main purpose on Earth? To become spiritual beings, and by spiritual, we obviously don't mean religious, and complete the incarnation cycle. They don't need educated people, who are capable of critical thinking and have spiritual goals. No, this kind of people are dangerous to the establishment. They want obedient robots, just intelligent enough to operate the machines and keep the system running, but stupid enough never to ask questions. All of the world's biggest problems have their roots deeply embedded in the financial plague. Wars are profitable, diseases are profitable, Earth's plundering is profitable, human slavery and inhumane working conditions are profitable. Our leaders have been corrupted by money, and mankind's collective mission on Earth has been hijacked by money. So why do we need the financial system in the first place? Actually, we don't need it, at least not anymore. The planet doesn't charge us a cent for using its natural resources, and we have the technology to extract them without physically working a day. More to the point, there are brilliant minds out there discussing the concept of a resource-based economy for decades. One example is Mr. Jack Fresco, a brilliant industrial designer and social engineer who spent most of his life designing the future. The cities proposed by Mr. Jack Fresco will be built by autonomous construction robots and will be eco-friendly and self-sustainable, earthquake and fireproof. Other people are already discussing the transition plan towards the economy of the future, where money are no longer required, and all individuals will be offered the best conditions to reach their highest potentials, all for the benefit of our species as a whole. So, our question is, are we ready to embrace the future and escape the control of the elite in a world without money? Or are we going to allow the New World Order plan to happen? We are all anonymous by default, united as one, divided by none. To the rich, greedy, filthy slave creators, you will be removed. Expect that.
Yeah, why you look all the people them in a Negril. This song is for Red Ground. Why you love Red Ground? Believe you me. Remember them tune, yeah? When Negril was the center of the world. Yeah, we just play the 13 family that control the monetary system in the earth. We're going to play the next one momentarily, coming up soon. I tell you, say, holiday must around the place. I wish holiday come up here now. And me, we in holiday, them have holiday and me. Must. You can't do when holiday come up here, believe you me. Why you love Sly and Robbie, you know? Yes, why you love Sly and Robbie?
To look at the role of the Rothschild family, the family said to be the wealthiest in the world. When Amschel Meyer Bauer inherited the business, he decided to change his name to Rothschild. Amschel soon learned that loaning money to governments and kings was more profitable than loaning to private individuals. Not only were the loans bigger, but they were secured by the nation's taxes. Mayer Rothschild had 5 sons. He trained them all in the skills of money creation, then sent them out to the major capitals of Europe to open branch offices of the family banking business. His first son, Amschel Meyer, stayed in Frankfurt to mind the hometown bank. His second son, Solomon, was sent to Vienna. His third son, Nathan, was clearly the most clever. He was sent to London at age 21 in 1798, 100 years after the founding of the Bank of England. His fourth son, Karl, went to Naples, and his fifth son, Jacob, went to Paris. Rothschilds soon grew unbelievably wealthy. By the mid-1800s, they dominated all European banking and were certainly the wealthiest family in the world. They financed Cecil Rhodes, making it possible for him to establish a monopoly over the diamond and gold fields of South Africa. In America, they financed the Harrimans in railroads, the Vanderbilts in railroads and the press, and Carnegie in the steel industry, among many others. In fact, during World War I, J.P. Morgan was thought to be the richest man in America. But after his death, it was discovered that he was actually only a lieutenant of the Rothschilds. By 1850, James Rothschild, the heir of the French branch of the family, was said to be worth 600 million French francs, 150 million more than all the other bankers in France put together. He built this mansion called Ferrier, just east of Paris. Wilhelm I, on seeing it, exclaimed, "Kings couldn't afford this. It could only belong to a Rothschild." Money changers, those who loan out and manipulate the quantity of money, were active in medieval England. In fact, they were so active that acting together, they could manipulate the entire English economy. These were not bankers per se. The money changers generally were the goldsmiths. They were the first bankers because they started keeping other people's gold for safekeeping in their vaults. The first paper money was merely a receipt for gold left at the goldsmith. Paper money caught on because it was more convenient than carrying around a lot of heavy gold and silver coins. Eventually, goldsmiths noticed that only a small fraction of the depositors ever came in and demanded their gold at any one time. Goldsmiths started cheating on the system. They discovered that they could print more money than they had gold, and usually no one would be the wiser.
Then they could loan out this extra money and collect interest on it. This was the birth of fractional reserve banking. That is, loaning out many times more money than you have assets on deposit. So, if $1,000 in gold were deposited with them, they could loan out about $10,000 in paper money and draw interest payments on it, and no one would ever discover the deception.
By this means, goldsmiths gradually accumulated more and more wealth and used this wealth to accumulate more and more gold. Today, this practice of loaning out more money than there are reserves is known as fractional reserve banking. Every bank in the United States is allowed to loan out at least 10 times more money than they actually have. That's why they get rich on charging, let's say, 8% interest. It's not really 8% per year, which is their income. It's 80%. That's why bank buildings are always the largest in town. When Queen Mary's sister, Queen Elizabeth I, took the throne, she was determined to regain control over English money. Her solution was to issue gold and silver coins from the public treasury and take the control over the money supply away from the money changers. Oliver Cromwell finally overthrew King Charles, purged the Parliament, and put the king to death. The money changers were immediately allowed to consolidate their financial power. The result was that for the next 50 years, the money changers plunged Great Britain into a series of costly wars. They took over a square mile of property in the center of London, known as the City of London. This area today is still known as one of the 3 predominant financial centers of the world.
By the end of the 1600s, England was in financial ruin. 50 years of more or less continuous wars with France and Holland had exhausted her.
Frantic government officials met with the money changers to beg for the loans necessary to pursue their political purposes. The price was high. A government-sanctioned, privately owned bank which could issue money created out of nothing. It was to be the modern world's first privately owned central bank, the Bank of England. Although it was deceptively called the Bank of England to make the general population think it was part of the government, it was not. Like any other private corporation, the Bank of England sold shares to get started. The investors, whose names were never revealed, were supposed to put up £1.25 million British pounds in gold coin to buy their shares in the bank. The bank was duly chartered in 1694 and started out in the business of loaning out several times the money it supposedly had in reserves, all at interest.
In exchange, the new bank would loan British politicians as much of the new currency as they wanted, as long as they secured the debt by direct taxation of the British people.
So, legalization of the Bank of England amounted to nothing less than legal counterfeiting of a national currency for private gain. Unfortunately, nearly every nation now has a privately controlled central bank using the Bank of England as the basic model. Such is the power of these central banks that they soon take total control over a nation's economy. It soon amounts to nothing but a plutocracy, ruled by the rich. The central bank scam is really a hidden tax. The nation sells bonds to the central bank to pay for things it does not have the political will to raise taxes to pay for. But the bonds are purchased with money the central bank creates out of nothing. More money in circulation makes your money worth less. The government gets as much money as it needs, and the people pay for it in inflation. The beauty of the plan is that not one person in 1,000 can figure it out because it's usually hidden behind complex-sounding economics gibberish. In 1790, less than 3 years after the Constitution had been signed, the money changers struck again. The newly appointed first Secretary of the Treasury, Alexander Hamilton, proposed a bill to the Congress calling for a new, privately owned central bank. Coincidentally, that was the very year that Amschel Rothschild made his pronouncement from his flagship bank in Frankfurt. Let me issue and control a nation's money, and I care not who writes the laws. After a year of intense debate, in 1791, Congress passed the bill and gave it a 20-year charter. The new bank was to be called the First Bank of the United States, or BUS. The bank was given a monopoly on printing U.S. currency, even though 80% of its stock would be held by private investors. The other 20% would be purchased by the U.S. government. Like the Bank of England, the name of the Bank of the United States was deliberately chosen to hide the fact that it was privately controlled. And like the Bank of England, the names of the investors in the bank were never revealed. Many years later, it was a common saying that the Rothschilds were the power behind the old Bank of the United States. Here in Paris, the Bank of France was organized in 1800, just like the Bank of England. But Napoleon decided France had to break free of debt, and he never trusted the Bank of France. He declared that when a government is dependent upon bankers for money, the bankers, not the leaders of the government, are in control. This is the Waterloo battlefield about 200 miles northeast of Paris in what today is Belgium. Here Napoleon suffered his final defeat, but not before thousands of French and Englishmen gave their lives on a steamy summer day in July of 1815. The outcome was certainly in doubt. In fact, had Napoleon attacked a few hours earlier, he would probably have won the battle. But no matter who won or lost, back in London, Nathan Rothschild planned to use the opportunity to try to seize control over the British stock and bond market and possibly even the Bank of England. Rothschild stationed a trusted agent, a man named Rothworth, on the north side of the battlefield, closer to the English Channel.
Once the battle had been decided, Rothworth took off for the Channel. He delivered the news to Nathan Rothschild a full 24 hours before Wellington's own courier. Rothschild hurried to the stock market and took up his usual position in front of an ancient pillar. All eyes were on him. The Rothschilds had a legendary communications network. If Wellington had been defeated and Napoleon was loose on the continent again, Britain's financial situation would become grave indeed. Rothschild looked saddened. He stood there motionless, eyes downcast. Then suddenly he began selling. Other nervous investors saw that Rothschild was selling. It could only mean one thing. Napoleon must have won, Wellington must have lost. The market plummeted. Soon everyone was selling their consols, their British government bonds, and prices dropped sharply. But then Rothschild started secretly buying up the consols through his agents for only a fraction of their worth hours before. Myths, legends, you say? 100 years later, the New York Times ran a story which said that Nathan's grandson had attempted to secure a court order to suppress a book with this stock market story in it. The Rothschild family claimed the story was untrue and libelous, but the court denied the Rothschilds' request and ordered the family to pay all court costs. What's even more interesting about this story is that some authors claim that the day after the Battle of Waterloo, in a matter of hours, Nathan Rothschild came to dominate not only the bond market, but the Bank of England as well. Whether or not the Rothschild family seized control of the Bank of England, the first privately owned central bank in a major European nation and the wealthiest, one thing is certain.
By the mid-1800s, the Rothschilds were the richest family in the world, bar none. They dominated the new government bond markets and branched into other banks and industrial concerns. In fact, the rest of the 19th century was known as the Age of the Rothschilds. Despite this overwhelming wealth, the family has generally cultivated an aura of invisibility. Although the family controls scores of industrial, commercial, mining, and tourist corporations, only a handful bear the Rothschild name. By the end of the 19th century, one expert estimated that the Rothschild family controlled half the wealth of the world. Whatever the extent of their vast wealth, it is reasonable to assume that their percentage of the world's wealth has increased since then. But since the turn of the century, the Rothschilds have cultivated the notion that their power has somehow waned even as their wealth increases. Just 1 year after Waterloo and Rothschild's alleged takeover of the Bank of England, the American Congress passed a bill permitting yet another privately owned central bank. This bank was called the Second Bank of the United States. Just as before, the primary stockholders remained a secret. But it is known that the largest block of shares, about 1/3 of the total, were sold to foreigners. As one observer put it, it is certainly no exaggeration to say that the Second Bank of the United States was rooted as deeply in Britain as it was in America. So, by 1816, some authors claim the Rothschilds had taken control over the Bank of England and backed a new privately owned central bank in America as well. During the early 1900s, men like J.P. Morgan led the charge. One final panic would be necessary to focus the nation's attention on the supposed need for a central bank. The rationale was that only a central bank can prevent bank failures. Morgan was clearly the most powerful banker in America and a suspected agent for the Rothschilds. Morgan had helped finance John D. Rockefeller's Standard Oil empire. He had also helped finance the monopolies of Edward Harriman in railroads, of Andrew Carnegie in steel, and of others in numerous industries. But on top of that, J.P. Morgan's father, Junius Morgan, had been America's financial agent to the British. After his father's death, J.P. Morgan took on a British partner, Edward Grenfell, a longtime director of the Bank of England. By 1907, the year after Teddy Roosevelt's re-election, Morgan decided it was time to try for a central bank again. Using their combined financial muscle, Morgan and his friends were secretly able to crash the stock market. Thousands of small banks were vastly overextended. Some had reserves of less than 1% thanks to the fractional reserve principle. Within days, bank runs were commonplace across the nation. Now Morgan stepped into the public arena and offered to prop up the faltering American economy by supporting failing banks with money he manufactured out of nothing. It was an outrageous proposal, far worse than even fractional reserve banking, but Congress let him do it. His plan worked. Soon, the public regained confidence in money in general and quit hoarding their currency. But as a result, banking power was further consolidated into the hands of a few large banks. By 1908, the panic was over, and Morgan was hailed as a hero by the president of Princeton University, a man by the name of Woodrow Wilson. The money changers had been able to create a series of booms and busts. The purpose was not only to fleece the American public of their property, but to later claim that the banking system was basically so unstable that it had to be consolidated into a central bank once again. After the crash, Teddy Roosevelt, in response to the panic of 1907, signed into law a bill creating something called the National Monetary Commission. Of course, the commission was packed with Morgan's friends and cronies. The chairman was a man named Senator Nelson Aldrich from Rhode Island. Aldrich represented the Newport, Rhode Island homes of America's richest banking families. His daughter married John D. Rockefeller Jr., and together they had 5 sons: John, Nelson, who would become vice president in 1974, Lawrence, Winthrop, and David, the head of the Council on Foreign Relations and former chairman of Chase Manhattan Bank. As soon as the National Monetary Commission was set up, Senator Aldrich immediately embarked on a 2-year tour of Europe, where he consulted at length with the private central bankers in England, France, and Germany. The total cost of his trip alone to the taxpayers was $300,000, an astronomical sum in those days. Shortly after his return, on the evening of November 22, 1910, some of the wealthiest and most powerful men in America boarded Senator Aldrich's private rail car and in the strictest secrecy journeyed to this place, Jekyll Island, off the coast of Georgia. With the group came Paul Warburg. Warburg had been given a $500,000 per year salary to lobby for the passage of a privately owned central bank in America by the investment firm Kuhn, Loeb and Company. Warburg's partner in this firm was a man named Jacob Schiff, the grandson of the man who shared the Green Shield house with the Rothschild family in Frankfurt. Schiff, as we'll find out later, was in the process of spending $20 million to finance the overthrow of the Tsar in Russia. These 3 European banking families, the Rothschilds, the Warburgs, and the Schiffs, were interconnected by marriage down through the years, just as their American banking counterparts, the Morgans, Rockefellers, and Aldriches were. Secrecy was so tight that all 7 primary participants were cautioned to use only first names to prevent servants from learning their identities. Years later, one participant, Frank Vanderlip, president of National City Bank of New York and a representative of the Rockefeller family, confirmed the Jekyll Island trip in a February 9th, 1935 edition of the Saturday Evening Post.
Yeah, this is the Cutting Edge on RFM. We're going to come forward to that, but you know, so the time is now 12 o'clock. Yeah, we hope that was some kind of enlightenment to the ones them out there who listen to the Cutting Edge. Because it's a serious thing. The only thing with it is that we don't even know if we can do nothing about it. I'm only make the main road, you don't understand? So, we don't know, maybe down the line we can use the information to really do something. But really and truly, when you hear say, half of the money in the world is controlled by a family. And you know, for another information, you know, is that the Rothschild family married into the family, you know. Because them don't want the wealth come out of the family. So you find, say, cousin married cousin, uncle married cousin, them kind of way that them married inside of the family. So the money stays like first time with the British monarchy. Them used to married inside of the family so that the bloodline don't get tainted according to how them see it. But when you hear how much people in the world are starved and are suffer, and knowing, say, a family, one family all have half of the money in the world, and them can decide the value of your money. The value of your money, them can decide it. And how gold represents significant and important aspect of money. When we know that most of the gold come out of Africa. Most of the gold, them dried from out of Africa, Southern Africa, to be precise. And then now print paper. So we now have paper and them have the gold. Terrible thing. Believe you me, terrible thing. We just play a tune that's hard with the children of my throat. Same old story. I that poem name. Same old story. Here's the next one. Here we goes. Yeah, we want to tell you that this Friday there will be an unveiling of a Marcus Garvey statue. This is the first black statue that is going to be unveiled on the campus of the University of the West Indies, and to the delight of ones who see and recognize Marcus Garvey. It will be a statue of Marcus Garvey. So this Friday, May the 19th, there will be an unveiling of Marcus Garvey's statue at the University of the West Indies. Time, 3:30 p.m. I have to be there. By the hook or the crook, I have to be there. The venue is in front of the Faculty of Humanities and Education. And they will have speakers like Julius Garvey, one of the sons of Marcus Garvey, Professor Rupert Lewis, who has written many books on Garvey, and Dean Wariboko, chairman of the event. And as we said before, this is the first black statue to be unveiled on the campus of the university. Can you imagine that? Well, what can we say? Because them still call it the West Indies. Marcus Garvey would have ball now if him hears the thing. After all of that, we still call the university and call it the West Indies. You know, I mean, really, Christopher Columbus still live. And our next event here on Friday, May the 26th, the Peter Abrams Tribute Symposium will take place. The Department of Sociology, Psychology and Social Work will be presenting the annual African Liberation Day Symposium. Team, Peter Abrams, the forgotten Pan-Africanist. You know, Peter Abrams was a South African, came here and lived here and died here. We hear say, is it one I'm Gardner, them kill him. Can you imagine that at 60? Hey, boy, I mean, I tell you. And Peter Abrams, I think Peter Abrams was in the 90s, you know. In the 90s, yes. Anyway, the speakers will be Professor Rupert Lewis, Earl Maxam, Dr. Shani Roper, and Dr. Michael Abrams. Time 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Venue, multifunctional room near the UWI main library. Admission is free. So it's two things are going on. And you know, this is, well, African Liberation Day is coming up. And we also know that in June is Leonard Howell's Earth Day. And then we see this thing here about Peter Abrams. So back to the song. This is the continuation. We're taking the call them. Operator sending the call them. It's the hours. It's the hours when the old them come out, you know. But we still have to take the call them. Trust me. Back to the song. Yes, may I tell you. Tribute to Lucky Dube, that South African musician who used reggae as his weapon of liberation. Murdered in the streets of Johannesburg. Yes, Eel.
Eel Muta.
Blessed man.
Give thanks for two tape them, you know.
Yeah, man. Give thanks, man.
But I trust me them connected. Yeah. And the song in between the two tape them, the
Corporate Cannibal. By Grace Jones, like a rabbit there behind there, yes.
Well, I think, when me hear you introduce the song, you know, pick up say that, but I never remember the Corporate before the Cannibal. I just shout out Cannibal in my mind, you know.
Corporate criminals. Corporate cannibals. Yes, man. I see.
All right. You see, the first tape, it mentioned something about internet.
13 family. The internet?
Yes, it's something about internet.
No, matter about this time.
Control.
No, I'm saying at the time, these things have information. No matter what, the internet has information. Okay.
And basically, it's a zombie thing in talk about, and him say something about conformity. So in other words, then boy,
him say the education system is used today to make you think in the box.
Yeah, so you just go along with
it. But you just go along with everything without thinking, without any rocking the boat or anything. You know, if you notice how the earth are going now with the youth them, we go at school. Them go at school to maintain the system. You know, see, if you look at where I go on, you know, it's maintain the youth. If you go at university, none of them youth, most of the youth them up at, when I say none, but most of the youth them up at university, them not have no radicalism in them, you know.
Yeah.
Them just are, it's like zombie. Them just do the work for pass them exam, for go look at job, for go get some money, and just live over about the same madness and craziness where the other people them they develop for control them.
And as we say, the music with Lucky Dube, them youth, you know, where I say them a scholar, them supposed to liberate the one them, you know, so brain full like them.
Them, yeah.
But one thing I always mention Mr. Rhodes, you know.
Cecil Rhodes. Yeah, Cecil Rhodes.
I mentioned him in tape too.
Yeah, well, Cecil Rhodes is the man with Rhodesia, when now called Zimbabwe, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the place is named Rhodesia until the independence, after Mugabe come in. So before Mugabe, before it independence, it was called Rhodesia.
Yeah.
And it was named after the man named Cecil Rhodes, who murdered thousands of Africans and then controlled the gold mine, them and all them something there. So when it became independent, it was no longer called Rhodesia. It was called Zimbabwe.
Okay.
So entire hear the name Rhodes. Cecil Rhodes. You ever hear about the Rhodes Scholarship?
Yeah, man, you hear about the one in Jamaica.
When you see how black people strange.
I
Black
tell you.
people accept a scholarship by a murderer. Can you imagine a Jew accept a scholarship named Hitler Scholarship? Can you imagine that? A Jew walk around with that scholarship and I say, boy, him just get the Hitler Scholarship. You know, and black people now, millions of people dead because of Cecil Rhodes. Yet still them have a scholarship named Rhodes Scholarship. Where people is very proud, black people
Them
very
hug it
proud.
up, man. Them hug it
Oh
up.
gosh, man, it's terrible, man. Terrible.
But this thing, you know, with the financial system, motor, basically, you know, the origins of it, when them say them are lend out money where them don't even have,
Yeah.
that are basically scamming.
Well, brethren, they don't know to the old financial, watch out. The Jamaican bank, you know, by year, the second was the last week when we play the minister in the house, the opposition man, the Jackson name. We are talking about say
Banking fee them.
the bank was dormant accounts. You left $3,000 in your account. And because you don't go back for the $3,000, them keep drawing money till you don't have no money at the bank. And not only that now. If you decide you're going to put money in there, you know what them do? Them deduct more money because them say them did have the account there and do something with him, no knows what. And the man come out and realize, but wait there, this thing is illegal. The bank not supposed to do that. It's illegal, and what they must do, him say go and get lawyer now to deal with it, and they must give back the people their money. Because over the years, they have been scamming the people them. So
Yeah, and people are walk past $1. And you see how important the $1 is to them in the bank. I hear the man talk about even 8% in the tape.
Become 80%. A year. So when you are looking at $1, they don't know say $1 million starts with $1.
Same way so.
$1 million
Also now,
$1, you know.
when them say them control government and president and them thing there, you know. Right now when this present day, I really wonder if them really have something to do with what really are going on in Venezuela.
Brethren, them have something to go on with everywhere. Them have things, you see the banking system is a drive economy, you know.
Because Venezuela have oil, and yet still them are suffer over there now.
Then let's see with Africa too, man.
Because
Africa is the richest country.
what I feel them all do, is like them all suffer them, and when them can get people who them can manipulate, you go see say everything go back to normal, or it would have come like normal to we.
Yeah.
You understand me?
Yeah.
And me remember you did play all a tape some time ago with Gaddafi, and we could know how the man did run him thing.
Yeah.
And a goal him did say.
Yeah, him did not get rid of the euro and just deal with the goal. They will not forget rid of him.
And that's why them get rid of him, you know. And here one bridging, a long time you do this thing, you know, and why you continue, you know.
No, they will not stop. We'll up on the radio, man.
Trust me, them something I can't steal things, because as much as over me the ear, I think the second one with the ear, I touch it already.
Which one?
See? The second tape where you play.
Okay.
See?
But
I know enough other people never hear it. I mean, I listen from long time, because I remember when we used to tape off cassette and send from brother-in-law Miami.
Yeah. No, everybody can go up on YouTube.
Oh, God, no, man.
The whole program too, and just cassette.
Yeah, because, trust me, remember every time it blow, you fall asleep, and one bag of commercial up on the cassette. Give thanks, keep up the good work.
Yes, Bridget, give thanks. Yeah, man. I tell you. So we are look on the whole thing and we are say we need some consciousness all the same, you know. I really that we really need, you know, some consciousness. We're not really conscious of certain things. We just live hand to mouth every day, you know, food, clothes and shelter. But we need some things in our life where make life more meaningful. You know the way there? Life, you can't just live, so, you know. People say them just want to have life. You want to have life and have it abundantly. You know, see, you don't want to just live. Because, I mean, really and truly, a man lay down on the street, he might live. Man a beg on the road, he might live. People sick in the hospital, he might live. You don't just want to live. You want to live and healthy. And can afford for good this or that, so whenever you choose or want, and eat what you want whenever you want to eat it, and wear what you want whenever you want to wear it. It's so life supposed to feel nice and good. Life supposed to be full of drowsiness and dreariness, and you just feel broken down every day because you can't do this and you can't afford this, and light bill come and rent come and water rate come and you pick no one and go to school. And can't go to school and them things, the rain come and wash for your house and your mattress and your bed, and you have to go depend on the little idiot people them we call themselves government. Terrible, 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 terrible. And imagine a family have 50% of the world money. 50% of the world money. You know what them said? The 5 leading the 5 richest man them, well, publicly, because when them talk about rich man, them not talk about Rockefeller and Rothschild and them people there, but them talk about people who visible. You know, like the man who own Microsoft. Certain people, them say the 5 richest man of the world can stop, them yearly salary can solve the starvation problem in the world. 5 people can solve the starvation problem in the world. But now them I tell you about the Rothschild. We have is the only trillionaire them in the no, Rasta. No, believe you me. We have all $1,000 I me feel good no Rasta. And you talk about trillion. You know what trillion is? And you don't only have 1 trillion, you have all $100 trillion at your disposal. Brethren, no. Well, I tell you, Jack can't say the world no level. It's no level for true. Believe you me. Yes, Ill.
Ill Muta.
Blessed man.
Boy, you do some real work, Muta. I have not listened to the program in a long time, and it's like our time warp. I come and I listen tonight, and it's like in the 90s, me the same way.
We're making never listen.
Boy, kind of different thing, Muta. School life, the whole work. You go to bed earlier, kind of the same thing we talk about. You don't find a treadmill.
So may I ask you a question now? Tonight, a fret, you stand out in the house afraid why you get
no, funny enough, no. No, Muta, not like that. Not like that at all. It's just a vibes, a vibration. I'm saying, I'm on zoning. So I'm zoning from my phone. Yeah. I'm just pick up, and it's tremendous, man. A whole heap of emotions just rush over me because enough knowledge you give me, Muta. Tremendous amount. Yeah, and you plant a whole heap of seed for me to do a whole heap of research and open my mind to a whole heap of thing.
Go
ahead.
Eh?
Yeah, man. So
it's give thanks.
Yes, absolutely, Muta. And, we really appreciate the work. Tremendously. I thought that from the bottom of my heart. So let me say a thing now, Muta. Yeah. There's a topic when I come across a couple of weeks ago. Is the first me get introduced to that. I'm going to do some very in-depth research on it. And it's a whole heap of thing we come to realize. I mean, one man like you with the amount of exposure, traveling and knowledge you work with, you would have been aware of it. So I'm going to put it to you, hear your feedback on it, right? And that is that the monarchs in Europe, up to King George III, that is the one with it in charge when America gave them independence, was black people. You ever hear that before, Muta? Well, I suppose you hear that already. Hello?
No, you have to ask. You can't answer the question and ask me the question at the same time. say the monarchy of England are black people.
Yeah, up to King George III.
Oh yeah.
King James the First and the sixth of England.
Wait there. Me read already. So them say King James was a black in him.
Hello?
Yeah, me say. Yeah. I have read where them say Shakespeare and King James was black people.
And you ever researched it before?
No, I say I have read it.
Okay.
But I don't give credence to it based upon England history.
Yes.
The British history. I don't give credence to it that King James and Shakespeare. As a matter of fact, I told a sister that I didn't accept it as legitimate news, and she was vexed with me.
All right. Can I say something to you, Nuta?
Yeah.
I came across a book, which is an eminent book used in Cambridge, and I'm going to put it to you, and I know you're a man going to follow up on it. A book that is a book, used at the Cambridge University in courses, in programs.
Yeah.
Published by the Cambridge University, written by a man named Professor W.B. Pattison. The book is the most eminent book in the world right now about King James.
What's the most eminent book in the world, what you mean?
Meaning there's no other book above it, if you want. This is the book, the reference point book about King James.
Okay.
Written by W.B. Pattison, published in the year 2000. It took the man 20-odd years to write the book.
Yes.
A white man write the book from. W.B. Pattison.
Yeah.
And it's Cambridge support this. The book I use at Cambridge right today.
Yeah, me not say, no, King. Telling me all this thing about Cambridge and all that thing don't make me feel secure in a.
All right, that's true. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You're absolutely understand where you're coming from. So let me tell you now, the book named King James the Sixth and the First Reunion of Christendom. That's the name of the book. On the cover of that book is a black image of King James. Now, when I came across the book online, I said, this is a joke. This can't be real. So I said, let me go research in depth now where this book come from, the authority of the book and so forth. I'm a dive in. The book take the man 20-odd years to write. The man is 80. The man born 1930, and the man who write the book, him still alive. It took him start write the book from the 70s. He is using the sources in Cambridge University and Oxford University, where all the sources are left behind for King James. All the sources, Muta. It's mind-blowing, because when we go into that now, I realize that even him father, straight black man, I mean no mulatto neither, you know. I mean straight black man. So now, we confidence yourself about the authority of the book based on the research.
Which part King James come from?
King James, him born in England, you know, because in Scotland. It's Scotland him come from, you know, because what really happened.
All right, let me tell you, you ever read a book named Demonology?
No, I never read that book. Never even heard of it.
Okay. You never hear about Demonology?
Demonology?
Yeah, man.
No, I don't hear about the book.
King James write it.
Atio. Never hear about the book.
The translation of the book, what them call the Bible, where trans King James Version. Shakespeare helped him too.
Yeah, man, Shakespeare is a black man.
No. You tell me say all right. You say that, but me I tell you say we not accept that.
But hold on,
wait, no, me I tell you say a sister. Tell me that. I'm gonna read that to you know. Me I tell you say me read that you know.
Mota.
Me read that.
Mota. What me I say to you know, Mota, is what has convinced me, you know.
Yeah, it's because Cambridge and Oxford.
No, it's not because of Cambridge and Oxford. Because you know, say your truth not come through one source, you know. If you man and read enough different things and take history serious, you start, because you read so broad, you're able to match things because you're booking up different things at different areas. I watched the documentary and I saved that, I bookmarked that on my phone, you know. What BBC make about the King James Bible, you know.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you the people them slick, you know. The people them show you enough image, and that the book, the story them I give you, the history is seem to be correct, you know, because them tell you say a 54-man King James get to put together, him split them across 3 universities, Oxford, Cambridge, and the next university, and him divide them into 2. They had something like 14 tests each book of a pass when they translate before it confirm say yes, this correct. So the documentary was very informative. But what was very interesting about the documentary, Mota, is as I watch that documentary, and I go down, the documentary is like about an hour and a half, and I go down into the documentary, the narrator is going different places in London. You know how these documentaries work.
Yeah.
And him go one place now and him a talk about King James, and him open a book, and the said image up on the front of the book, and me I tell you about, me see him. But hear him skillful now. Him open the book, the camera go over it, and then him say, and up there you have an image of King James, feeding blah, blah, blah. And I say, look at that. The man open the book with the black image, you know. The camera just go over it, and then him start out with a statue.
All right, so let me ask you a question. The image of Jesus, where we have, you know any university, barring none, where that image is not in where them tell you, say this.
The white one, where you see?
Yeah, the white one, of course.
No, my puppy show thing that.
No, wait.
Yeah.
That in a Cambridge, that in a Howard, that in a our university, that image that them show you this all.
So you say you compare that now to say them could have used the black image as a farce?
No, may I say that
because there wouldn't be no reason for them to use the black image as a farce.
Why not? Why not?
Because
then
if you
use the white image as a farce. Then how them use the white image as a farce?
Listen, what may I say to you?
No, how them use the white image as a farce? That may I say?
Because they want you to believe that the white is what it is.
Okay, so
they don't want to believe
this man will confuse the world. This man will confuse the world now. Who was one of the where him and Shakespeare did have a relationship.
Mota, stop for a moment.
No,
stop for a moment. Don't you mention the Mota? Just give me a second, man. Let me just express. Please, Mota. Let me just express. Because I know it's finished.
So me can because there's something about when me think about the man.
Sure, you can. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Historically, based off of when me read.
Right.
Because me read where you read, you know.
Hold on, you're assuming that, but go ahead.
Because me read say King James and Shakespeare was a black person.
Right.
Then you don't read that too.
But what I'm saying is...
No, me ask if you read that.
Yeah.
All right. So me I tell you now, say, me read other things too.
All right. And I read other things too.
And the other things which it more convinced me, say he wasn't black.
All right.
Yeah.
Can I make a point, Mota?
Yeah.
The point I make is, with the white Jesus... Yeah. And my thinking was that black man run the world up to a point. Let's say the Holy Roman Empire. See?
Black man run the world up to the Roman Empire?
Yeah, that was my thinking. That was my thinking.
Yeah, but the Greeks them did run it before the Romans.
True. Then that I say, I think the Greeks them were not white people. They were not white people.
Them was what?
That they were coming from the Phoenicians and all of that.
No, don't tell me what them was.
Black people, man. Black
the
people.
Greeks
From the white them most black. From
Pluto,
the white them black.
Vietnam, man. The Chinese are what?
Oh, you mean they're not black Chinese? What,
no, me never said. No, me ask if Chinese are black people.
No, listen.
We could define what we are talking about.
All right. We
are talking about African and we are talking about European. And that we are talking about...
Take time with me, no, man.
Take time with me.
Take time with me.
Because you tell me now the Greeks are black people.
Yeah, man.
All right. So the Greeks are black people. So you talk about now Alexander was a black man.
Of course.
Pluto was a black man.
Of course.
Socrates was a black man. All right, sir.
Socrates was a black man, but this is what I show you now. So may I bring some thinking.
Josephus was a black man too.
Who?
Josephus.
I don't really remember that person in history.
All right. So all of them people. So who was black in our history now? Who was black? Who was white?
All right, so hold on now.
If everybody what you are talking about was black, who was white?
So hold on now, Muta, man. Yeah. Hold on, man.
Yeah, but you can't take people are weird for the thing.
All right, let me do it fast. Let me just do me I say fast. What may I say to you is that in my research, it's the root start because me I confirm, me I try to realize if King James black. But confirm that. But what the research starts to lead me to realize because if
that
King James black, me start find out who I'm mother, who I'm father, and who the throne come down to. Then we go France. I realize the Stuart house of Stuart. Because the word Stuart, it means black, you know, is a Nordic word.
Maurice mean black too. German. Maurice mean black too.
All right, there you go.
And Moore mean black too.
All right. Yes. So what may I say to you?
And Kemet mean black too.
Yeah, man. What may I say to you really is that in my research, I have come to the realization that the monarchs in Europe were black people. The Habsburg Empire, all of Germany,
the French,
Austria.
the emperor was black. The French, the Caesar was black. I mean, Julius Caesar was black. Mark Antony was black.
Yeah.
That is what you
Constantine from 325 AD when the
Constantine
canonization of the Bible happened.
So we say Constantine was black too.
Of course.
So tell me who was white in them time?
Well, this is the question we may keep asking. Where white people come from?
No. We you have tried to figure out a white in history and black in history. No,
because I'm not sure you say.
So what we are doing now? So me ask it's an opposite thing we are doing now. We are say since them did say everything did white, now we are going to say everything black.
No, that's not the point. The point I make to you is that you can go research it yourself. I am saying
no, but
Brethren,
I tell you the thing that you are telling me about, me read them already.
You read the King James the First and the Sixth reunion of Christendom?
No, listen to me now. Listen to what I say now. Trust me.
No, man, no fees me a force on pie no more. Me not force on pie.
But you can't force on pie. You listen to me or you not listen to me.
Me I listen to you.
All right, me I said to you now. You see the things that you tell me about King James?
Right.
Me read that already.
All right.
Right.
No, you don't read the book after. But go ahead.
But matter about King James as a black man.
All right.
Me read that in our history already. All right. So me ask you a question now.
Right.
If the Greeks was black,
right.
King James, Shakespeare,
right.
all the European monarchs was black.
Right.
Tell me who in our history was white.
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
You never have
white people then come from somewhere. Them come from somewhere.
So Alexander the Greek was black. Pluto was black. Homer was black. Socrates was black. Tell me who in our history was white.
Who?
Yeah, who in our history where you know was white.
What I believe was white person historically.
Yeah, who you think in our history was white.
None of the nobilities that we're talking about. Some other people on the road.
Don't answer me with a negative.
Negative commoners I don't know.
No, brethren, listen to me. I never asked you who. I never asked you who wasn't white, you know. Who was white.
And I'm trying to tell you, the commoners, not the nobility of Europe, were white. I don't know the name, Muta.
So no white people did involve in nothing what is great then.
No.
That's what I say.
No, you are saying thing.
No,
yes, me
ask you. May I ask you?
No, what I'm saying.
You think they didn't have any great white people during them time there?
Listen, what I'm saying.
Any popular white person?
What I'm saying is.
May I ask you a question?
And I'm answering the question, but you're not allowing me to answer it. You keep cutting me off.
All right, tell me. What
you keep cutting me off. What I'm saying to you is that my research was trying to find out about particular set of people.
Yeah.
So that question that you're asking me, I cannot answer.
You can't answer that.
No.
So now you make a research about all the nobles in Europe was black.
Right.
King James was black.
Definitely.
The Greeks was black. Alexander was black. Socrates was black. But then no, you don't make no counter in investigation. You don't
yes,
make no counter.
I do.
And you don't find no white people. You don't find no white people.
The counter investigation
is that you don't find no white people. It's only
let me answer the question.
But you tell me what's all and I'm going to lock you off now because the thing I got too long.
All right, the counter investigation is that I am countering that these people were white. That's the counter. So you want to have another counter again?
No. If I tell you there's something black, I must show you something white. And if I tell you something white, I must show you something black.
No, I can't agree with that conversation.
What you mean? If I said this, if
I said white before, I'm not sure say black. I'm not sure say white again.
If I see a group of people,
and you to them white.
No, if I see a group of people was white,
right,
and now you are telling me now to them was black,
right,
all right. So now the people
counter back that again?
No, me not must counter. I tell you say if you are show me in a history that all of the people them where you say as great people are what
No. You was the one who announced that, All right, I am saying I was a great people.
Make a X out the grade.
I am saying to you that
the people them who have significance in Europe in terms of nobility was black.
Right.
All right. So I ask you now, who in Europe who was of nobility or any standing was white?
Those people came in after the 17th century.
So they was only ruling over who? The black people them in Europe was ruling over who?
They were ruling over more a mixed society.
But you just tell me say
They were moving over.
All right, we have to move, Bridget. We have to move.
By black
We
people.
have to move. We have to move. We have to move.
Well, Muta,
No, we have to move.
it's
We have to move.
unfortunate, but me understand.
Talk to that Bridget a while ago. You know, they have a market up at Barbican where my lady sell every other Saturday, and a Bridget come up there. I'm a Bridget, you know. And him come up there and have me in a conversation, you know, for sure me say, Mota, I'm going to prove now, say the world flat, you know. And next brethren, come to me and say, brethren, Mota, why you tell the people them say a one sun a show up on the earth? A two sun them have and two moon. No, two moon, sorry. Him say a two moon. Mr. Brethren had two moon. Him say, yes, a two moon. The moon where we are say, yes, so it's not the same moon the people them in America or in the other part of the world I say. So a two moon. And him argument is so convincing that if you're not a thinker, you'd have say, Brethren, you know, say, a true you talk, the world really flat, or it was two different people me I talk about. The world really flat, or really and truly a two moon you have, you know, upon the earth you have, in the earth. It's like a thinking where the people them in a Christendom and old times did actually believe, say, the earth, the sun revolve round the earth. And them actually believe, say, the sun, the star will fall upon the earth according to what the Bible say. Because the Bible tells us that the stars are going to fall from heaven, you know, upon the earth. And we know, say, the nearest star to the earth is the sun. And the sun, if it ever get any little closer, it just burn up. So the star, them what we see, we're far than the sun. We have more heat than the sun. The only reason why we now feel them is because them they far. If them never come near like the sun, no earth wouldn't be there. And because man never understand the sun and its relationship to the earth, him worship the sun. The sun is the first emblem of worship when man start to worship in the sky. Because him realize that the sun is the source of all the energy. So you have arguments, very convincing, about the earth, the sun, if the earth flat, because you couldn't tell people in them time that the earth never flat. And furthermore now, when, I mean, if we have fight for liberation from Europeans, and then we hear say no, it's black people send the ship them go Africa for take black people out tight. Because him said the nobility of Europe was black people. Black people, Pluto, Socrates, Alexander, will go in Iraq and Persia and Egypt, could devastate the place. The Greeks, them actually name, the Greeks actually, if the Greeks was black, how them go and was surprised when them see the people, them skin. I hope him listen now. If the Greeks, them was black, I can't do what this virgin I say. Oh, them when them go south of the Sahara desert and see the people, them down there, them was so taken aback that them give the people, them a Greek name, Ethiopians. Because it says the sun shine upon them and make them skin say so. Why were the Greeks surprised that some people looked that way there? So them started to call them black people or Ethiopians. Ethiopia wasn't like the place where we are called Ethiopia now. Ethiopia was the south of the Sahara. That means that all the countries south of the Sahara was called Ethiopia. I don't even know how to pronounce it right. I think it starts with an A-E. A-E, T-H-I-O-P-I-A, Ethiopia. Land of the burnt faces. That is what it means. Land of the burnt faces. Now, if this place was given the name Ethiopia, land of the burnt faces, because them say the sun causes the people them to look so. Them never ever understand that it's the sun neither. But it's the sun cause the place them, the people them to look so. Or would they be surprised? What is it in Europe that could give these people the color that them could have called the other people them Ethiopians? I mean, if you tell me, say, black people go to Europe and mix up with white people just like now. Because we know of black people going to Europe and mix up with white people. But to tell me outrightly now, say I must accept the reversal that all the Greeks were black. All the nobles of Europe were black. King James was black. Shakespeare was black. Socrates was black. Homer was black. Alexander was black. Man, I don't care if it's in Oxford University. I don't care if it's in a Cambridge University. And furthermore, what does that mean now? What does that mean? Because now we have to rewrite the whole of the historical things now. What would that mean to us as African people now? What does that mean now? That we must now embrace European. Queen Elizabeth is what? I mean, Queen Elizabeth II. Queen Elizabeth II, Victoria. I mean, all these women, Victoria, Queen Victoria was responsible for those slave things were going on there, so. Because Hawkins, Christopher Columbus, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, me must know say these people was black people. The nobles of Europe was black people. I mean, brethren, really think about it, man. Don't go over the other side, man. Don't get so enthused and go over to the other side now by saying no. You are going to now totally ignore the whiteness of Europe and say Europe was black. I can understand African people going into Europe and white people going into Africa and mix up the whole thing. But you're going to show me now, say, all the nobles of Europe was white people, was black people. So when you say, no, black people go in Europe and rule the white people them, because according to the brethren, it's the little commoners them was white. So black people go in Europe and rule the white people them. And white people go in Africa and rule the black people them. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. You know, the same people them would tell you, say, in Europe, Henry, the nobles, you could be put to death for homosexuality in Europe, in England too. There was a time when you could be put to death. Now, the same people them who did I tell you, say, it's a death sentence for homosexuality. Now I tell you, say, you better accept it, you know, or else.
Me had to get through this morning if we never get through no other morning. The conversation that you have with the person with lies and madness, man. But before we just do that, we just have to say one of the livicated listeners to the Cutting Edge program, the sister in Marva, Brady from St. John's Road, Spanish Town, unfortunately passed away on Monday the 15th of May, you know? So, condolences to the family of Marva Brady. You know, my parents started at Friendship Government School and her siblings, brother, and, you know, she passed away. And she used to teach at school too, you know? Some cervical cancer. Condolences to the Brady with Spanish Town, St. John's Road, and so Central Kingston. A total liar with no business whether he want to talk about him so-called Cambridge or Oxford or whatever, because them tell some of the biggest lies. But It's an outright lie. As you say, the word Ethiopia, land of the burnt faces, it refers to the continent of Africa, you know. So if the Greeks were so-called black, so-called African, there would be no need for them to describe the inhabitants of the continent as burnt faces.
Yeah, a madness.
It's about a madman. I mean, it's a lunatic, and this is the kind of lies. And like you said, it's not the first I've heard these lies, you know. But Shakespeare and James.
Mandingo, I can tell you something.
Yeah.
Me and you know, say anytime we are come up, we get all sort of information. Them information, they are when me go Kinson technical. But me no repeat them information there, you know. Because me know that them intervention is some counteraction to some counteraction.
Exactly.
You know, see, it's not a counteraction, you know. It's a counteraction to a counteraction.
Exactly.
Because we have say certain things, a man come back and say certain things, and they have to come back now, come say, but watch you know, this is how it go. And then put it in a big book them, in a big university them, for you now as a youth now, come say, but rotted. But the black people did rule America. A black people did
rule Europe.
Yeah. It's only you know what get me kind of little upset is when them say is the peasant them was white. It's only the peasant. Me say, so which part the white people
the commoners, as they call them, which is the vast majority of the population. It's a total lie. Because I'm talking about the James thing. James the first of England was the same James VI of Scotland, and he succeeded to the throne when Elizabeth, his cousin, passed away.
The second,
James was the only son of Mary, Queen of Scots, and her second husband, Henry Stuart, also known as Lord Darnley. And both Mary and Darnley were great-grandchildren of Henry VII of England, the older sister of Henry VIII. And they're all European.
No, but him say you have other pictures now.
This is madness.
But, Brethren, may I ask you a question? You never see pictures where them show you say, see, the King James is a black man. You never see the picture there yet? You never see it yet?
Yeah, I have seen some pictures where them portray that way and also things written saying that. Yeah. But I know that this is false information, false research. It's not everything that is written is true. You and I know that. Some people, you see, from them see a thing in a book, them feel it's like some people from them see a thing on the internet. Them just assume so because it's on the internet. It is true. It's not every information that you come across is factual. There are a lot of lies.
But I don't get that information there already, you know. Is that me I tell me, say, Brethren, this is what you say, me don't have that information.
It's nothing new, exactly, and see me here too.
But me now take that out of my head now and start to show it, like say, this is a gospel thing me I work with, so now. King James was a white black man. Shakespeare was a black man.
And then to put that on people to add to them ignorance and tell them lies like that. It's not total lie. When I hear him say Alexander, Socrates, and these people, the Greeks, were so-called black. Total lie, they are Europeans.
Him say the Greeks. Him never said us Socrates. Him say the Greeks. And me a ball out Socrates. Alexander, say, them was black. The whole Greeks, the Greeks was black.
Yes, I heard him.
All the early Greeks would have been black and go to Africa, go say black people and give them the name burnt face, land of burnt face.
Yes, because the word Ethiopia means land of the burnt faces. Ethiopia, you know, spelling in thing there. Same thing. It's madness. It's like how the Arab Muslims, them call anywhere Africa where we have Bilad as Sudan. Yes. Bilad, the land of as Sudan meaning black. It's equivalent, land of the black people.
Like
so anyway, you know, Mother Africa.
Like Kemet.
You know?
Like Kemet.
Yeah, precisely.
As one.
Precisely.
Them places, you know, it's like.
And the thing about it is that we have to deal with people like that in our race who are doing the same kind of lies, but in an inverse way, opposite way to what European racists do, who said that everything so-called notable was European, and then we have some of our people doing the inverse, the opposite.
Was European, everything noble was black.
Exactly. It's madness, lies, total lies. We have to get rid of that type of thing. Because the evidence is there. These are Europeans. Shakespeare, James the First of England, who was the same James the Sixth.
The two of them had a relationship. The two of Shakespeare and him have a relationship.
Yes.
It was very long. As a matter of fact, you know, is James supply Shakespeare with a whole heap of the funds them so he could have continue him work.
As a playwright.
Yes.
You know. I mean, madness. And you were talking about the money situation earlier with the Rothschilds and so on. So, as you and I know,
maybe them black too.
What happens is that what the Europeans have done in going across the world from attacking the 15th century now with criminals like Columbus and so on, is that one of the ways in which they subjugate the world economically now, using the economic thing, is to destroy the currency system of Africans and others and impose their own currency system. And this is why anyone who comes to get rid of their currency system that they use to help to control the thing, they destroy them or move against them. Because that was the reason why, for example, they moved against Saddam. You know, when Saddam said that he was no longer going to sell oil in the US dollars, which was the number one currency that the Americans extract to replace the pound after the so-called Second World War. And that was a threat to the Americans. Because Saddam was gonna deal with it in euros, and the Americans never wanted it. And then later on, now when Gaddafi, the Arab Muslim, come with the dinar to use the gold as the thing. Because remember, you know, it's counterfeit thing going on because about 1971, thereabouts, when the Americans no longer had any gold to back their currency, by decree, by fiat, that criminal Richard Nixon just started to print money. So ever since from 1971, they've been printing money, doing counterfeiting. But if me and you and anyone else print money, we go to prison.
Of course.
So the whole thing has been based upon counterfeiting from Richard Nixon.
The more money them print is the more your money the value, you know.
Precisely, and this is why the only way, you notice all of the so-called finance ministers of Jamaica, whether them are PNP or GLP, they have never explained to our people in Jamaica how this whole system of foreign exchange, where them talking about our currency weak and that, how this can came out. Because them is part and party to the whole con and deception. Remember when them changed in 1969 from the pound to the Jamaican dollar, 1969, that time you and I going to Kingston Technical. The exchange rate was 2 Jamaican dollars to 1 English pound, you know. And it's almost 200 to 1 now. It's a whole con. They deliberately destroyed and got rid of the currencies in Africa and the rest of Asia and the rest of the world, and imposed their own currency as a way of helping to rob people. And the only way out of this thing, and they use the IMF and the World Bank, which are their institutions, to keep people in economic bondage and political bondage. And the way that we can get rid of their economic control and strangulation of our African people and other people of the world is by getting rid of their false counterfeit currency system with them dollars and them pounds and that type of thing. Because it's a weapon of destruction.
But I want to tell you something, you know. A very important thing the man say, you know, is that, all right, the goal was there, you know, and what them do is make some paper because them find out, say, the goal too heavy. So they make the paper now for
convenience.
For make the gold value the same thing. But what happen now is that the people them who have the paper never did that trade it for the goal really. So them start to print more paper than the goal where them have. Which now make the thing look now like say boy right now is like if you have £10, them make £20, but them have value at 10 goal. £10 worth of goal, and they make £20 worth of paper money. Which now the other £10 no have no value, you know. But they make it have value now by now putting it in the bank. And they now trade half of something where do have no value. The other £10 do have no value, you know. It's only the £10 will link with the goal of the value, you know.
Exactly.
The other £10
that is what I'm saying. It's a criminal enterprise. It's fraud.
It's fraud.
It's racketeering.
Of course.
It's fraud. And it's just like how people have to deal with this dormant account thing. Because it's an attempt to rob people of their money.
And look, you know, a man who not in power now, you know, in the opposition, him just a find out that, you know, this they are going for years to them that thief the people their money, you know. And him no time no in a power now. Me glad same say it still, you know. Me glad same say it, but just the thing say, imagine the Minister of Finance, which in a theme party, was the Minister of Finance, and he never recognized the government, the bank, them did that rob the people them by.
We're robbing people that have no right to steal people money because them account is dormant. Yes. The people's money is the people's money.
Yeah, suppose you gone a foreign. Suppose you did gone a foreign and you just come back and you left your account over here with
precisely
$50,000. When you come back, you have $5 in the account because they might take out money for this, take out money for that. And if no money no left in there, them still a charge, you know. So if you put more money in there,
because remember now, look at this now. People can be away from Jamaica for years for whatever reason, whether they were in prison or other circumstances and so. So they use that as a pretext to rob people's money in their Jamaican bank accounts. None of that. No, we must not allow this robbery.
The man say it is illegal and I'm going to get lawyers to deal with them. They must repay back the money to the Jamaican people. And
exactly.
It's the first ever agree with a politician.
Criminal.
100% I agree with a politician there. 100%. I never agree with a politician yet. Believe you
Totally.
Me. But anyway.
So yes, man.
We are going to England. We are going to England. You have to tell me we are going to England before you hang up. You know.
Yes. Well. What is the election campaign that is coming up is of serious significance to African people in Britain because Jeremy Corbyn in his manifesto launched in Bradford there to rousing acclaim by the people there shows plainly why the Tories are afraid of him as head of the Labour Party coming to power. Because his economic policies and political manifesto is designed in the favor of the 95% of the population. Because he has come out plainly and said that there must be a redistribution of the wealth of the country to deal with the justice, economic and other forms of justice for the majority, 95%, and the situation whereby you have 5% of the population living off like parasites, the 95%, which is the same situation when you talk about those Bill Gates and other people, Microsoft, the money that they have. How could they have so much money except at the expense of exploiting the vast majority of the people? Because remember, there can be no wealth accumulated without the work of the people who are the workers, the vast majority. You make workers do work in any country and you see if any wealth is produced. When I'm talking about it is a few so-called rich people who have wealth and make things progress, it's a total lie. Who produces wealth is the vast majority of the people who are the workers in any society and every society. Without the workers, there is no wealth.
Yeah, I agree.
And what has been happening in Britain, in the States, Jamaica and elsewhere, is that the vast majority of the people who are the workers have been used and the few parasites living off the blood, sweat, and tears of the workers, who are the vast majority of the people.
Yeah.
And this is why all the propaganda against Jeremy Corbyn is non-stop. And the significance for us as African people in Britain is that we are the ones who are the most victimized.
Yeah.
Because we are the first to be fired and the last to be hired.
Yeah.
And this is why this is of significance.
So you think anything will make a difference, like how the French them elect a president where neither left nor right?
No, if Jeremy Corbyn wins, and I hope that he wins, it would make a difference, because Jeremy Corbyn's economic policies are much more radical, because they are in the favor of the people, unlike the guy Macron in France who just won. Because one of the things that Jeremy Corbyn is talking about is to renationalize the energy companies, the railway companies, and so on, because what has happened is that these companies, subsidized by the people's money, taxpayers' money, has been enriching the private few owners, like Richard Branson with his Virgin thing and Virgin trains and so on. They're getting money from taxpayers subsidized by the government and benefiting as private enterprises. And what Jeremy Corbyn is truthfully saying is that this must be, these industries, rail systems and gas companies, electricity and so on, must be nationalized. Meaning owned and operated in the interest of the people and not in the interest of the few parasites who are sucking out the lifeblood of the vast majority of the people.
More kind of on the left side, like. Not directly left.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
Rapid move, though.
Absolutely.
Rapid move.
Yes. Blessed.
Hello?
Yeah, blessed.
Muta?
Yes, ma'am.
You know I was supposed to be the second person?
Second person for what?
On the call tonight.
Oh.
I told the lady on the switchboard that I was 94, which means that I would come in and go off. Instead, you put that brother, that you two get together and brother, it's it. But anyway, thank you for the Claude McKay.
I'm glad to hear you again.
Hello?
I'm glad to hear you. Long time I don't hear you.
No, because they won't let me through.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Whenever I call you, I never get through.
They don't know it's who calling, man. They don't know it's who. It's some young ladies around the front. They don't know you.
I tell them I'm 94.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, Claude McKay.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that. I had the opportunity of meeting him.
Oh, yes?
Yes, when I was a teenager. I walked into the Garvey Club on 116th Street, and there he was, sitting at my mother's desk.
Wow.
And she introduced him to me, and I was just thrilled silly because I loved his poem, If We Must Die.
Yes. Very famous
and thank you for that. David Rockefeller died last week.
David Rockefeller.
Part of that Rockefeller gang.
Yes.
And I thought to myself, I wonder how many black people know that David came into Harlem and bought up a whole block from 125th and 26th to Lenox Avenue and 7th Avenue and removed all the black community bookstores and put up the SOB building, State Office building, which I call Son of a Bitch building, because David did that. Well, so he died last week.
This was before Clinton moved into Harlem or after?
Oh, yeah.
It was before?
Yeah, because I think I was in my 30s or 40s then.
Okay. Oh, that's from them time. Okay.
In fact, the State Office building was quite beautiful by the time they came in. Beautiful building.
Yeah.
And as for King James, John Clark, Professor John Clark, and Brother Joe Cannon, they said that King James was called crazy because he married a black woman. Now,
one of his women.
Who's that?
No, I said that. You remember that? One of his women. One of his
wives.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, she was a black woman, and that's why they called him crazy.
Because he married a black woman.
Yeah, she was a black woman.
Okay.
He was white, but she was a black woman.
But, yeah, the guy saying he was white and...
Yeah, well, you know, he has his opinion.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be gracious to us crazy people.
By marrying one of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then in Revelations 1:14, you find the black Jesus.
Yes.
So you know
woolly
about that
and
group.
Woolly hair and...
Yes, and dark feet.
Bronze of skin.
And then if you have a Quran, read Surah or chapter Cave, and you'll find who is what.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah, okay.
Now I'm gone, but my phone bill is going to be big, and I'm going to send it to you.
Okay, beautiful. We will
darling.
it. We will absorb it.
Listen, you know, you were on the stage when they installed me as Queen Mother, right?
Yes.
Well, would you let me know tomorrow about that thing on Friday, 3 p.m. at UE?
Yes, they're unveiling a Marcus Garvey statue.
Yeah, I'm thrilled.
Yeah, I'm thrilled too.
But as Queen Mother, nobody will invite me, see?
Oh, yeah?
No.
I must talk to Dr. Barnett about that.
Wonderful. He's come to my Kwanzaa, so he knows me.
Yeah, he might be listening to, He might be listening.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I'd like to be there.
Yes, okay, I'll tell him.
Okay, darling.
Okay, give time.
Good night.
Yes, good night. Yeah, that was Sister Samad, 90-year-old. Always listening to the cutting edge, right up to the end. Because you should talk about the Claude McKay. The Claude McKay thing was played at something to 11. And now it's something to 2. And she's still there with me. How can we resist that? May I tell you, cutting edge. King James woman, them was black. She made reference to Ben Buchanan and John Henry Clark, two of the greatest scholars, African scholars, Pan-Africanist scholars you will ever find anywhere on this planet. John Henry Clark and Ben Buchanan, who, for those of you who know, that we brought Ben Buchanan here twice. Twice we brought Ben Buchanan here. In St. Anne here. So, take a note of that. Take a note of that. Believe you me. This is the cutting edge on RFM. Yes, El.
Motor, yes. So I had this pressing question. The sister from the tambourine gang, the right?
Who this?
This is Chris. I actually just speak to you a little while ago. Chris from Kingston.
Okay. Are you talking about the white, this and the white that a while ago?
No, man. We call you after him.
Oh, after the year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's about the girl from the tambourine. Them choke the case.
Yeah. So them let her out. So my other thing that I found out, this whole thing, let me talk to this lady from the DPP. Now, I didn't know that the DPP have the final word on throwing out any case that come into the court. So that to me is the sole reason, well, not the sole reason, but one of the reasons why you don't find that there's so much unfinished case in the court.
Because what?
It's kind of crazy, because no matter about one person cannot be judge, jury, and executioner when them themselves have the authority to do the same thing.
So you feel said the DPP was the judge, jury, and executioner?
Well, I mean, them are not just in that case, but them have, especially if them say them don't want this here case for going at the court because they want to protect certain high-end officials or whatever the case may be, then that then play a certain role in it.
Well, I don't have a clue about that aspect of the thing, Bridget. I can't talk.
Yeah, I was listening to another radio station today, and one of the ladies from that department, she actually said it.
Okay.
So it coming straight from the horse's mouth, basically. So it gives you certain answers as to why certain cases are not unsolved, or you don't hear nothing about them.
It again, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the first police,
another thing, there's a commercial that played earlier on tonight during the commercial break where them asking they're going to ask the kids the reason why the Chinese are in Jamaica is with a new type of
colonialism. Yes.
Yeah.
Running African.
So, my thing now is would I like everybody for kind of wake up to one of your old poem them, where with Christopher Columbus saw him coming and smile up in your face, and then all of the bad things happen.
Yeah. Well, you see, you see, why we now go see it as colonialism? Because it don't come with slavery. You know how we know it. So we have to think outside of the box right now about how colonialism, how the neo-colonialism exists. Are we studying what colonialism was in relationship to Europe, how Europe colonized countries, and don't recognize that now colonialism can come without the textbook version of European understanding. In other words, now, the Chinese don't have to use what the Europeans or how the Europeans do it to colonize somewhere and call it colonization. It's just that we now go call it so because it's not Europeans that do it, and how them come. How the Chinese come now, it make it look like it's not colonialism.
Yeah, that's how they have to do it for kind of keep us in the loop, because if they try to do the same thing, maybe it wouldn't work.
Yeah, and then now our leaders don't understand it. Our leaders don't understand that colonialism, how them study it, because most of them, man, the way you see in a government now, they most radical up a university, you know. See? And how them see it, how the books that them study about colonialism and slavery, it's just a way them do it. So if somebody else come with it, more than likely them now going to recognize it as colonialism. They're going to say it's really aid and, it's one and wash the other kind of system. And it's not a one and wash the other thing.
But you think, Muta, the government really don't know what is really going on, or them know, but them want to get them kickback?
Them don't see says colonialism. Them don't see says colonialism. Them seen say is a beneficial is governments and governments. Like we poor, but we might have to get Lego more than them have to Lego. The Chinese have to Lego less and we have to Lego more. So them build the highway, so we know, because we do have the money to give them to put out feed. We say, come, we'll give you a couple 100 acres of land for you to put up hotel and them something for benefit, and yet we still have to go pay feed.
Well, that seems like a abusive relationship to me, because you put yourself in a case of perpetual debt.
When you're in a lion mouth, you don't take time to try it out.
I tell you, it's serious. I know how this a country I can't get it out of its hands out of the lion's mouth, so to speak, because it come like say it all the way in the belly,
Yeah, we have to have some different kind of leaders who think totally different.
Yeah, we have to go completely redo this thing, because from what we understand, it's almost like say them have this agreement where even with the International Monetary Fund, them continue to give money to keep us in debt.
Yeah, because we will always be in debt if we continue to hold on upon them. Because we don't have no reserve, we don't have no gold reserve, we don't have no mining reserve, we don't have no oil reserve for really fall back upon. So we
and Amir, another man say the primary purpose of collecting taxes from the people is to pay back your debt.
Yeah.
So when all the road them not fix and them type of something, well, there goes the reason.
You have to pay debt. But, well, you don't have to, but by standard, to be a gentle person, you pay it. But it's just that now, if you was to start look at it and say, but what you know, hold on there. You know much things you don't do to we already, and you still not give you no reparation for all them things there. Maybe we should have just defunct pan debt.
They should have just do it,
That's why they don't like certain government, Certain government do them things there that they can't do nothing about it. But we're not teeth.
Maybe that's one of the reasons if we're getting a completely different type of government who them honor in the lion mouth and say, yeah, hear me, we no business we do no, be different. Me I work for my country,
Yeah, we have to deal with what we are dealing with that now. Right now we have to defer payment until we get certain things proper.
Because from what we see in the country, the country there's quite a few things that are going good in the country, but Yeah. If we can capitalize on our own thing and stop taking loans, we can probably build even faster.
Bridget, for your borrow, you a serious problem, you know. And if you borrow, you don't say a way out where you can pay it, you will start create ways for pay it, you know. And sometimes the ways that you create for pay it going to hurt other people.
Yeah, but look on that way with all the other day them go dipping at the NHD fund.
Yeah. And well, the other one they do it and them never say, you know, it's like them are now do it and them say them justified for do it. It's a weird thing. It's still dipping light, you know. When them are going to do with it, they have nothing to do with where the NHD funds is supposed to deal with. You understand? But them not justified. Because when the other one they do it, you know, you remember them did a ball out? Say the PNP going at it. Now them going at it now, them are justify why them did have to go in at it. You know, see, but maybe them try to take the NHD fund and build some road. Because you can't build house and you have no good road for drive your car up and for go to your yard. And right now, Jamaica infrastructure, it totally, may I tell you, it's terrible.
The other problem we may have too is, you know, it's almost like that we don't like fix things.
No.
We rather just build something new.
We wait till it mash up and then we say,
till it mash up and then have to build something new. We don't go by one saying prevention is better than cure.
We don't do that. Anyway, good thanks, Bridget.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Bridget said the right thing. We don't like fixed things. You know, we want to wait till it mash up and then we say, we want a new thing. Yes, Ian.
Yes, Muta, hello.
Blessed man.
Yeah, man, first time for the program. I call from Westmoreland.
All right, sir.
Call from Westmoreland, from Belmont.
Why you call tonight? Tell me.
First time for the program.
No, why you call tonight?
Yeah, I call to tell about the Jacoby thing there.
Friday. Okay.
Yeah, man, it's a nice show, you know.
Yeah, man, it was wonderful, don't it?
Yeah, man. So I wonder if we get a bigger venue still next year.
No, watch out. I rename that road James Jack Ruby Avenue, you know.
Yeah.
So forget it, a bigger venue. The possibility is yes, but you know, it in keeping with the concept and the ideas.
Yeah.
So we really designed to keep it. Pan Jack Ruby Avenue, you know, since it are rename, you know. I mean, it's small still because I don't listen to a whole lot of people. Maybe about 2,000-3,000 people. They did 4,000 people, you know.
Yeah, man. Because it's all done, you know. We'll call about next time still. But I second time I attend it still, you know.
Yeah,
but the thing is, you can't pass the people, man.
No, but at 2 time it keep, you know. So you're there all the while.
Yeah, man, they let me show it on the edge there, you know. And the red, green, and gold glass there. Yeah, man, but Mr. Seven, you grow now big, and, you know, man, you know, when you brush up against them and all them things, and man, you lock the place, you know. You can't pass go even by a soda.
They may not say Ninja Man driving. Mr. Ninja Man driving Mercedes-Benz from around the back stage, go right up to the front up of the clock.
Yeah, man, and then the bike man, them again, man. They must want to run over the people, man. I tell you, first time did a good order, but I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I just that more and show you thing. We call about Annie and I still because I want to talk to you about other things, the same bank business.
Yeah, man.
Where bank teach your money.
All right, give thanks, sir. Give thanks.
Yeah.
Yes, credit done just in time. Yes, so here we are saying so now. You know, so we're going to forward there, so from 2 to 5:45 with the stepping razor, the art of war, you know. We have a total different program lineup. We have some interview, I think we want to interview, I don't sure if I will get him, the commissioner of police. I wonder if Shamara get him. Maybe I'm going to tell the same not ready yet. From 2 weeks now, we are trying to get him still, but he will come still. Him look like him really want to do the interview with us. We're glad that him really want to do it. I can't tell we hear. Say him really is not, you know, against doing it. So we hope, if not this week, next week. You know, so we hope for that. Yes, Ian.
Yeah, a long time I sit up on the wall and watch it, you know.
That me I say.
Years.
But you come off of the wall now because we're going to lick it down, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm going to be loved no more, but that's going to help Trump to break the wall in this world. All right. No, thank you very much. I just happened to be passing by around by the Jack Ruby area. And so...
When? Today or Friday?
Yeah, on Friday.
You're just passing by?
I tell you the truth, man. I'm an 85-year-old man. Make
oh, gosh, 85. And they up here now, them hours they listen to continue.
Yeah, look, the man. No, I listen to Muta because Muta teach a certain amount of people, a certain amount of things. But it teach the world. And who want to catch on.
Okay.
Yeah?
All right.
And believe you me, I don't go too far because I'm glad my wife is asleep because all she can remember about you is that you have the 10 things then down on the ground.
No, 10 things, them. I'm a foot your top.
That's what you have done on the ground is what you have over your head. And what you have in the mouth and passing mouth to the younger one them.
All right, sir.
All right, you see. So
and you're 85.
Yeah, me have
old people listen to me them all the night, man.
And that's out there who want to talk to you.
A lady just called me, she's 94, you know.
I tell you, look, man, you are a special person.
Yeah.
Don't give it up.
No, all right, sir.
All right. Take care.
Yes, man, may I tell you, 85-year-old, 94-year-old, may I tell you, Muta, you're going sweet at the night, yeah, man. Trust me. Not to mention the teenager, them where each up them phone in them ears and listen under them pillar because them no want them parents to them and listen to the idiot rasta. Sweet. Cutting edge. Him credit down. Eel.
Yeah, Muta, just a quick thing.
Yeah.
You see, what the Chinese them do, of course, it's not colonialism. It is neo-colonialism.
I me say. Me kind of realize that's a colonialism. It's neo-colonialism.
Yes, neo-colonialism. And our African people to know how that operate. When them use economics.
Well, that's what I say.
And propaganda. What them to do is read Marcus Garvey's Kwame Nkrumah, who was inspired most by Marcus Garvey, his book, Neo-colonialism.
Yes.
Because that is the process.
Yeah, man.
Kwame Nkrumah's book, Neo-colonialism, he said Marcus Garvey's philosophy and opinions inspired him the most. Shows how the Chinese, like the Europeans and so, using economics and that type of thing to colonize us. That kind of neo-colonialism. Which we, not to be downhearted, what we have to do is fight intelligently and wisely as Africans to prevent this. Bawling and crying do help. No. We have to fight.
All right, sir. Give thanks.
Give thanks. Bless.
Panic. Yes, Eel.
Eel Muta,
blessed man. Cutting edge.
When they listen from Chad McKay command.
Yeah.
The brother. Me think, I mean, I grieve, you know, and I see why. And then man, they sell back the race, make some people give up on, black people give up on, mad, you know, brother.
Oh, you mean the brother with everybody white?
Yeah.
I mean black?
All right.
The nobles?
Muta, every man must realize. The art of reading is to analyze, don't it?
Yeah.
When you read a book, you're supposed to have, try to learn to analyze what is factual from what is fiction. What is fiction from non-fiction, don't it?
Yeah.
If you ever read a book where you grow up in a society where you know your race and know, you learn a basic school about history. Even though we learn history after slavery then. And you come now of age and you ever read something from university where I divulge your thoughts away. That means that is in a you long time.
I think there's a need in a certain people right now for right now feel that the greatness of Europe or European nobility could not be what it was if you never have black people that govern it. So there's a sense of wanting to be a part of that in your mind. So when white people write that, it's almost like there's a need for really associate with that kind of information. You know, we want to identify with those information that, yes, black people did take part in the nobility of these places, and I don't know what Chinese people is. Because I did ask him too, what would I call Chinese?
Oh, well, those are the things you ask him.
It's almost like you must say them black.
When you ask him about Socrates and them, and them was black.
Him say them black. So
that means that him, I was with foot and him and white, then but I'm white all the while, him have black skin. Because you can't only read and accept what in you, In analyzing the real facts of reading. I understand.
Well, you hear Mama Sima just come clarify something a while ago.
Yeah, very me listen.
She said King James did marry to a black woman.
Yeah.
But him was white.
Yeah.
And she talked about her knowledge from two eminent scholars. Black scholars.
Yeah.
John Henry Clark and Ben Buchanan.
Oh, two greatest
so argument done. Argument done.
Yeah, man, she concluded everything there. So.
Yeah, argument done.
So, me right here clearly when she said King James is married to the white woman.
No, a black woman.
To the black woman, yeah. What is that? Let me not denounce him or what?
Yeah, them say, no, the argument is that, them would have denounced him. Of course, them would have denounced him.
Like Moses, a country Bible, Moses, he married to the Ethiopian
woman. Yeah. They would have denounced him and say, why you couldn't marry somebody in your race?
Now, when that virgin there, listen what she said.
I think him here. I think most here, man. Him not going to.
Yeah, man, I work my listen. That's supposed to send a prick in a film cerebellum, my main part of my brain.
Yeah. But I never expect him to say Alexander was white, black, I never expect him to say that,
That's the way the man gone, brother. And when man like them, when black people, when you hear like them that say that, it keep them confused,
Yeah.
And you know what them use now? Them use the eminence at the university, them and,
Yeah, to make you feel like, say, you don't know where I say, because Cambridge University and Oxford University, much things them university they put out there, and them help perpetuate the lies.
All right.
Them university help perpetuate the lies against black people too.
All right, now give me a similarity. I was my listen. It's like him growing father was an honest man and well hard working. And when he become big, he might read a book where university said his father was a culprit and a thief and a pirate. You don't believe that today?
Yeah, I don't know.
You understand? I want to hear that, to show you the influence of university and name have against you.
Them brethren, a whole heap of things we're reading at school, man. A whole heap of things I read still, I know. Me have some book on my yard and I read them, me have to discern for myself. Me have to look into it myself, If say, wait, it's like when I read the Bible.
Even the Bible.
I read the Bible to read it. I have to question certain things tonight, I can't take it and say, boy, right now, true, a big guys write this and men of God write it. I can't question it. No, man, not go so, man. I question everything.
God write it, you have to put the right thing in
there. Yes. Because certain things tonight, you can't accept it. There's no way. If he's an intelligent person who really think.
Yeah.
You can't accept certain things in the book. You can't.
If your mind catch funny, I catch funny bird, man, you analyze and I say,
yeah, man, I joke, man. Today, I read the Bible. I read the Bible today, and it part will say, and Jesus Christ look on the men, and the man them ask him, so tell me something, when will we know the end, the world, coming to an end? And him say, watch out, the world now going to end until the Son of Man come. And him say, what time will this be? And him say, you are going to know, but you want to know. That statement alone show you say, something wrong, because it's not me, the man, it's not me, Jesus attacked in the Bible, It's the man, them disciples, them him attacked, So even him, Jesus, the thing say, the coming of Jesus would have take place during them man the time.
Yeah.
So when him say, and you must know that this going to be the sign when the Son of Man appear. The man them who sit down there so believe say it will happen in a film time, because I know me that talk. Me never sit down in front of him.
Yeah, me understand what you say.
Yeah, so when Christian read it today, It sounds like say Jesus never talked to a specific set of people, like him them did not talk.
Yeah, like how him talk to know.
Him never talk to me. Him never talk to me. Him talk 2,000 years ago to some people who sit in front of him, and I ask him question about when him think it going to happen, when these things are going to happen, and what are going to take place. And him start to show them, say, this is going to take place, and take heed that when you see these things happen, when him say take heed that when you, not me.
Me understand what you say. In other words, under the English manner, him did talking at the present tense, not the future tense.
Yes, at the present him talk about.
Yeah.
But we
I know me love about the Muta.
Yeah.
I want him to try convince you and tell you about the book them and read, and you say, you go to one of them for high school.
ask Mandingo. You see the virgin who called me from England every week, yeah? Mandingo. Me and him just that talk a while ago.
Yeah.
Me and them man, they used to their school, you know. And the way we into this thing, you know, Rasta, that something where everybody repeat these things. Me don't want to repeat it.
And him coming to a strategic point, the kind of hear King James family. King James 1 to King James 6 Scotland and that.
Yeah, and them, all of them things they don't know them things because we study all European history too, you know. And all African history we know about, you know. We study European history too.
You can't know one thing to know. You have to know, you have to have an idea. Knowledge means right words, you know, that you can pick out.
Anyway, we have to move, brethren.
Yeah,
we have to move. Give thanks, yes. Yeah, man, some things where me read and me I say, but wait. You mean say me can't think? Me not supposed to think about these things. Me supposed to just accept it, so? I mean, really. I mean, when me a little picnic out toddler, them can't tell me some things. You know, yes, Jesus love me because the Bible tell me so and all these things. But now that me a big man, you know, me reach all my teenager age in a school and me a listen and me a think. And me start to think and me start to say, but why me should I really accept these things as knowledge? Because somebody bigger than like have a doctorate. Them have a doctorate, so through them have a doctorate now, them know more than me. No, me have to discern, me have to have a mind that can look on certain things. And when me figure it out and you come with your thing, me have to reason with you. And where you are say, if where you are say makes sense, me go back and look on it, you know. Me not just tell a man say everything where him say a foolishness, you know. Because me I listen to him and me I listen to what the virgin I say. I realize the virgin now say nothing when me never did read about already. You know, see it. That's the weird part, right, you know. Me read about where I read about already. And me everybody repeat that. Because there's certain things me not going to repeat. Oh, you know Matrix? Matrix coming here and him brethren. You know me always say your brethren. Where the brethren name again?
Laffy.
Eh?
Laffy.
Where the name?
Laffy.
Laffy? Spell Laffy.
Laughy.
Laffy. Laughy. Are that your real name?
Not my real name, but...
No, wait there. No, wait. Me ask you what your name and you tell me say not your real name. Defan your name. The way you talk about it not... Wait. When a man asks what my name, I say Mutabaruka. You think I know my real name, that? What is this man? I never name my mother give me, you know. I never name me give myself, you know.
So is you give yourself Mutabaruka?
That's not my name. The other name, I'm a mother name.
So that's my driver's license?
I'm a mother name upon the driver's license. I no business with that. When you talk to me, you say, what your name? I say, Mutabaruka. You know, see, just like when I say, my earth day. That's the day when me born. And my birthday is my mother day that. My mother give birth, so it's fair birthday. Me born the 25th of December, that's my earth day. The birthday is my mother day. My mother birthed me. So it's fair birthday that.
Me and your earth day close.
Eh? Me and your earth day. But you say your name Laffy. I me never see you laughing yet. Never see you laughing yet. But I know you always have vexed with Matrix, so. Look like him no shave ganja with you. Believe you me. Matrix, you're supposed to cheer your ganja in a rigid. Ganja, you can't go to jail again for the ganja where you walk with, you know. You see, a little piece of ganja you show him, Rasta. We can't go to jail for ganja again, you know. You know, your Peter that said, nah, go to jail for ganja no more. We can't have the ganja in your talking on all the radio. Say Matrix have ganja upon him, so now, and him no want to share it with him brethren.
But they see on all the TV more. Why?
Yes. So why you don't want to share the ganja with your brethren, Rasta? Him stop smoke ganja? Eh? You stop smoke ganja? Why? And your wife calls you to stop smoking, you know. The man just get married and the wife say, look at her. Me accept the ear, you know. And me accept the little beard, you know. But you see the ganja thing, me know that, you know. The wife say, no, sir. The beard is all right, and the little ear per head is all right. But no, please, don't bring the ganja around me. So you're at it now. We give thanks to the moment and the energy, you know. So we are going to come forward from 2 to 5:45 with the stepping razor. The art of war. So here we are going to that tune now. Believe you me. A long time I don't play that.